Let's talk about how to use the winds of change to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. We can change the world is what my t-shirt says today. And change is one of my personal favorite topics. Why? Because it happens all the time. It's inevitable. It happens to all of us. And if you don't figure out how to manage change, change is going to manage you. Well, what does winds of change mean? Where did it come from? That's our idiom for Supersize Your Business today. It came actually from 1960, the year I was born. On February 4th, a little before I was born, the Prime Minister of Britain, the British Prime Minister, I believe it was Harold Maximilian, was giving a speech in South Africa, actually in Cape Town, to the South African Parliament and talking about the winds of change and that change was going to come to South Africa. And it became a very popular expression from that point on, and it means that there are forces that have the power to change things, and that change is going to happen. It's going to happen whether we want it to or not. Change is going to happen in all of our lives. When in doubt, think of where you were the middle of March 2020, right? Every single one of us has been impacted by the COVID pandemic, some in positive ways, some in negative ways. And usually the choice is up to us. But there's things that happen that are going to cause changes that we can control and changes we can't control. Think of changes in your organization that might require you to manage and lead through those changes, because those are the ones that you can have the biggest impact on. Implementation of a new technology. Think of if you've ever been involved in a computer systems change or a systems change or a communications change in your organization. In corporate America, I grew up in corporate America as technology was just becoming a part of the business world. You know, personal computers, office computers, laptops weren't even invented yet. I know, crazy but true. Much less cell phones, where we can do so much work that we used to do on big old computers that took up an entire room. So implementation of new technology is an example where it requires management and leadership involvement to make that change happen. Mergers and acquisitions would be another place where change leadership and management is essential. A change in leadership requires change management, right? Whenever I went into a new organization, a new job, a new consulting gig, it always requires a transition and me to manage the teams and change involved in that, right? We have to have a certain process that we use to do that, or it causes disruption in a negative way. We want to cause disruption in a positive way whenever there's a leadership change or whenever we go in and help companies do anything. Any type of change in the organizational culture. Look at all the change that's happened in businesses and organizations due to COVID. All of the whole work from home technology. We've been talking as society about people working from home and remote work for my entire career, for decades. We're talking almost 5 decades. And as technology changed, it made it possible. And COVID-19, to me, just absolutely positively exponentially speeded up that process of now it's becoming normal for people to work from home. Times of crisis, I would say COVID qualifies as that, require management and leadership of the change process. So what are some of the type changes that we can expect to see? There's usually there's about 5 different types of change, right, that can occur in our lives as well as in our businesses. Transformational, when we want to become something different in our organization. Organization-wide changes have to come from the top down, so they start with you. Personnel changes. There's personnel changes in our businesses all the time, and as we grow, adding people, subtracting people becomes the norm. Unplanned changes. I would say for most people, COVID-19 was an unplanned change. Remedial changes, when we find that we're in trouble in some area or aspect of our business and we need to stop the bloodletting and fix it. Again, a lot of companies found themselves in a remedial change situation. Restaurants, the entire restaurant industry has been decimated as have several other industries, by the mandates and restrictions set out by COVID. And a few creative leaders and creative change managers have actually been thriving during this time, not struggling. But again, they're the exception, not the rule. So we need to look at them and learn from them. What are they doing so that we can apply it to our businesses? So curious, what is your take on change, the winds of change? How do you deal with change in your organization? Do you have a planned way of dealing with changes and things that come up in your organization? Do you have a process that you follow when you experience change in your organization? Or is it just change happens and you react? Change happens and you react. If you're in reactive mode, I would suggest you switch that up and have a proactive process for handling changes in your organization, especially as you grow and supersize. As you get more people involved in your organization, it's critical that you manage and lead the change process and have a process that you actually are managing through so that you have consistency and growth in your business. That's it. If you want to know how I do that in my businesses and help other businesses do it as well, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business and your life? To me, change is inevitable, so I got to have a process for handling it, just like, all the other things that we have to handle in our life because they're going to happen. We have to brush our teeth every day, right? I don't know anybody that doesn't brush their teeth every day. Anyway, maybe that's not a perfect example, but it's a pretty good one. All right, great. Have an absolutely amazing day. Share how you deal with winds of change or your experience with this particular idiom or expression, and I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.